My name is Juju, and today we will be attempting to make AI-generated dishes a reality. We will be attempting to make 2 of his viral dishes, and at the end, we are gonna be trying to make our very own AI-generated dish. So, let's go! So this Filipino developer named Christopher David recently went viral because of his Filipino dishes that were generated by AI.
I thought of like asking ChatGPT to create original Filipino dishes. It always gives out like yung mga random na like combinations, mga fusions, or like twists lang sa existing dish. So isang mga ginawa ko, sobrang specific din yung mga prompts and there's a lot of iteration. I asked it come up with like a story. So even though hindi na siya kasama doon sa mismong post na nilagay ko, the name should sound like Filipino but it shouldn't be based on an existing Filipino word. The dish itself, it shouldn't be based on an existing Filipino dish but using Filipino ingredients and techniques. As a tool, it just helps add more ideas.
So now we're gonna start off by cubing our pork shoulder. Okay, so now we'll start off by prepping our vegetables. You don't need to be perfect. This is going to be our traditional panggisa. To make the lemongrass easier to cut, we're gonna bash it. I was super curious when I first saw this recipe because it kinda reminded me of mole. So this is essentially like a Mexican stew. Actually, it's more of a sauce than a stew, made with chocolate. Well, my interpretation of it is sort of like an adobo na may konting chocolate. Supposedly, the chocolate makes sense because chocolate usually adds a lot of depth and flavor to the dish. Okay, now we're done with prepping our veg. Now it's time to cook the dish. Okay, so in a very hot pan, we want to add a nice sear to our pork. Oh, there we go. Now that we've built up all this flavor inside the pan, we are gonna saute our vegetables here. So as much as possible, we want to employ Filipino techniques when making this, since this is a Filipino dish. So this is actually your very traditional panggisa. When the garlic has developed a nice color and toastiness, then you wanna follow it up with your onions. Add in your lemongrass, ginger, and sile. Oh, this is smelling so good already. Now at this point, when the onions are a bit translucent and the vegetables have been cooked down a bit, you want to add your pork back in. Okay, now to deglaze our pot, we are gonna be adding some pork stock. So at this point, we can add our seasonings and spices. And now for the star of this dish, and probably the most interesting ingredient that we'll be adding to this is, according to the recipe, it calls for native chocolate. And first thing that comes into mind is, of course, our very own tablea. I'm a bit nervous about this, pero I think it should come out okay. We are going to let this simmer for around 2 to 3 hours just so we can really achieve that pull-apart texture that we want in a good stew, very tender meat. So this is another very familiar ingredient. This is star anise. So star anise is usually used for stews and soup dishes here in the Philippines, a lot in Filipino Chinese cuisine, such as pares, mami, also in pork humba. So I think it would make sense, and you know, let's just find out later. Now for the malunggay rice, we are gonna be doing sort of like a coconut rice type of situation. It's what I thought of since the dish itself is quite spicy, so we want the coconut rice to be there to balance things out and make the flavors a bit more subtle. So upon seeing the recipe, the dish is essentially, it appears to me that it's sort of like a cream of mushroom soup. So I'll try to make my own rendition of it. and make it sort of like corn veloute, which is essentially like a soup thickened with roux. So right now we are making our chicken stock. So just place it right here. Then we will be adding some water. Okay, now we want to cook this down for about 40 minutes to make our chicken stock. So this dish actually reminds me of this Kapampangan dish called suam. It's essentially like a Kapampangan corn soup, and it's usually served with malunggay. So instead of having malunggay here, the AI actually let us do it with alugbati. So you want to get like these small kernel bits. I don't know how they do it. Like the Kapampangan lolas, like they just do like that and it comes off really easily. But then right now, like the corn's spilling all over the place. So according to the AI, it's chopped with native chicken pieces. And judging by the picture, it looks like white meat on top. So what I'm gonna do is chop this chicken into cubes and saute it with our young bamboo shoots or labong. Then we go in with our garlic. This corn that we chopped earlier, we're gonna add it to our soup. Now we want to add a bit of our bamboo shoots. Once it's cooked down a bit, and as you can see, the corn has changed color a bit. It's become more yellow. At this point, we can add our chicken stock. So we want to cook this down for around 10 minutes until the vegetables soften, and then we're gonna go ahead and blend it. So add some black pepper, and in goes some patis. This is where we'll get the saltiness from. Okay, so before we add the coconut cream, we're gonna blend the soup a bit just to make it a bit smoother. Yeah, cream of corn. Exactly. Okay, so I don't think the immersion blender is working out. So we're gonna try to improvise and try to make it smoother using this blender. And it's working. Alright. It looks good. Okay, so I think we were able to achieve the consistency similar to the one in the picture. We're gonna add it back to the pan now. Now for the finishing touch, let's add our coconut cream. At this point, we can kill the heat so the soup remains velvety smooth. And now for the exciting part, we've asked AI to generate a dessert for us. But honestly, I'm not a baker, kind of suck at baking. So we are gonna call a friend to help me out.
Oh, siya. Mamaya. So since we're basing everything off of the photo, na-feel ko it looks very moist.
Moist?
Moist.
I like that word. Para siya yung yung bibingka royal type. Alam mo yun, yung parang medyo mas malagkit na bibingka. Is that what you were aiming for?
Para siyang bibingkang galapong or bibingka sa mohon. So it's
Mohon.
like tikoy na may... Pero ito, since mag-a-add pa tayo ng rice flour, glutinous rice flour,
Yes.
magkakaroon pa siya ng katawan. Oh,
Okay, tara na. Arat na.
Ito.
Gotcha.
Let's blend it. Let's make it smooth. Silky smooth. We're using some coconut milk just to help. Oras mo na.
So how long did you soak this rice for?
30 minutes would be good.
30 minutes lang. Okay.
So now, see how smooth that is?
Oh,
Hindi
that's
siya
really
smooth at all.
smooth.
That's all.
Looks really creamy.
Creamy. Bread.
That's what they call. That's what they call using your head.
Next is the glutinous rice flour. Ibig sabihin, this will make yung kind of stretchy.
Yeah. Okay, so parang normal rice flour will give it more of like a crumb, but then this one is more of like a chew type of thing. Nice. Mas may kagat.
Yan, gusto
Mas may
natin.
kagat.
So yan, para lang mas bibingka, I feel like do we need banana leaves for this or?
Banana leaves.
Correct.
We're here already, so
Oo nga, sakto.
let's go all the way.
Just that.
This is when I was a kid and they said that the circle wouldn't fit into the triangle. Look at me now.
True. I feel like kailangan natin pagbigyan yung AI prompt, so let's do the rectangle of pan.
Oh yeah. Now that chef isn't here, it's time for my part, and luckily this is probably the easiest one. So we're gonna be making a caramel sauce inspired by latik. So this is sort of like a coconut cream caramel sauce situation. So first we go in with our coconut milk. We are gonna be adding some palm sugar. So now for the star of the show, we are gonna be adding patis. So I think this might work out because you know how they add salt to caramel to make salted caramel, and it's a very popular food, very popular topping. So the saltiness element will be coming from the patis. So as you can see, I'm adding a lot of patis since really want to taste that fishy flavor. You want to simmer this on very low heat for around 15 minutes until it develops into this luscious caramel sauce. Now to achieve that brown caramel color, we're gonna be adding a bit of brown sugar. So the real challenge here is trying to replicate this as accurately as possible. So, okay, moment of truth.
Ano bang pinagagawa mo dyan?
Sakto, you need to be feeling ko, kailangan mo medyo
Uy, wow.
basag ka para ma-enjoy ito. So, we can do it course by course. For appetizer, we have balaw sapal, which is sort of like a cream soup made with coconut milk, corn, and bamboo shoots, topped with alugbati leaves and chicken. Diba?
Sarap ka.
Describe the taste.
Kabahan na tayo. No, it's super good. I like it. The TBH, I'm not like a super fan of labong, but then
Yeah.
it's really good. I feel like
You can't taste it as much, diba? Here.
it smells too.
So for our next dish, we have kinilamok na baboy, which is essentially like a pork stew with different spices such as lemongrass and star anise. But what I think makes it special is the addition of native chocolate.
Kuha naman talaga. It's a plate of white and brown.
Okay, let's give it a try.
Yeah, it's kind of spicy. And honestly, yung flavor niya is humba.
Humba, tama.
So yung pait
I was
ng
looking for-
tausi, pinalitan ng chocolate.
Tama.
Para ka lang gumawa ng humba na maanghang.
Presenting you our final dish. Actually, this is our masterpiece, I believe.
Right, so if you look at it, it's drowning in sauce. Pero as is, diba, it looks like a dessert.
That's first. Kamusta?
Not gonna lie. Oh, I like it.
Really?
I like it. It's not, I can't say it's soft, but it's tender. Paano bang...
Okay.
This is nice.
I get it now.
And the patis. Oh. No, but I like it, seriously.
It works. And I also wanted to mention, since I worked in the hotel industry before, a big part of these businesses is to have recipe development, and that usually takes a lot of time.
Right.
So I think I see this as a tool to help out yung mga head chefs out there to further their creative process.
Yeah.
So they might not exactly copy the dish presented to them, but it can serve as a foundation for the dishes that they will create. So
Right.